Delta TV main news tonight. Nigeria set to launch nationwide digital switchover on June 17. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori reaffirms his administration's commitment to strengthening partnership with traditional institutions. National Emergency Management Agency urges states to begin flood prevention measure. And abroad, Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu reveals secret UAE visit during Iran conflict. Good evening and welcome to Delta Television Main News. I am Blessing Usiagwada. You can also follow our news online on Facebook and YouTube at Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, or visit our website at www.dbsasaba.com. Now, the news in detail. The federal government says Nigeria's Digital Switchover DSO project will be officially inaugurated on June 17. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mr. Mohammed Idris, announced this after inspecting facilities put in place by the Nigerian Communications Satellite Limited, NICOMSAT, and the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, in Abuja. He said the project would move Nigeria from analog to digital television broadcasting, improve broadcast quality, expand access to more channels, and boost the digital economy, noting that over 100 channels were expected at launch, with better content distribution and wider national coverage. Officials of NICOMSAT and the NBC described the project as a major milestone in Nigeria's broadcast sector, attributing its success to interagency cooperation and government support, adding that the system would allow better audience tracking, improved advertising decisions, and wider access to content across the country. President Bola Tinubu has extended a formal invitation to the President of Guinea, General Mamadi Doumbouya, to undertake a state visit to Nigeria. The invitation followed a bilateral meeting between the two leaders on the sidelines of the Africa CEO Forum in Kigali, Rwanda. Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Mr. Sunday Dare, in a statement said the meeting focused on strengthening cooperation between both countries, especially in Guinea's mineral and metal sector. Mr. Dare noted that President Doumbouya received the invitation warmly and was expected to visit Abuja in the near future. According to Mr. Dare, the engagement opened strategic opportunities for economic partnership between Nigeria and Guinea, particularly in the areas of mining and infrastructure development. He stated that Guinea possessed enormous potential in minerals and metals, adding that the partnership between both countries was expected to grow in the coming years. Guinea is regarded as one of Africa's most mineral-rich nations, with large reserves of iron, ore, gold, and diamonds. The state governor, the Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to strengthen partnership with traditional institutions to enhance sustainable development across the state. Governor Oborevwori stated this during the presentation of staff of office to the Obi of Isile Azagba, Obi Ikechukwu Uboma II, in Anyocha North Local Government Area. Pere Botu reports.
The governor, represented by his deputy, Sir Monday Oyeme, said the presentation of the staff of office was not merely a ceremonial event, but a celebration of heritage, identity, and the enduring strength of the traditional institution. He said it was a of the integrity, fairness, and compassion. The governor affirmed that traditional leadership carried enormous responsibility as royal fathers remained custodians of culture, mediators in times of conflict, moral voice in the society, and partners in development, adding that their roles in promoting peace, preserving customs, values, and fostering communal harmony cannot be overemphasized. Governor Oborowori expressed confidence that the Isila Sagba monarch would discharge his duties with honor, dignity, and a deep commitment to the welfare of the people, and urged all sons and daughters at home and in the diaspora to rally round the king and support him with loyalty, unity, and sincerity of purpose.
I therefore urge all sons and daughters of Isila Sagba, both at home and in diaspora, to rally round their king. You should all work together to build a kingdom where peace reigns supreme and where our rich cultural heritage is preserved for generations yet unborn.
The chairman of National North Council, Honorable Basim Chinye, thanked Governor Sheriff Oborowori for the official presentation of staff of office to Obi Ike Chukwuemeka Ugboma II as Obi of Isela Sagba Kingdom. Honorable Chinye noted that the event was a triumph of the people's tradition and cultural heritage and called on the people to put the interests of the kingdom above self or sectional interests and rally around the monarch. President General Isila Sagba Development Union Elder Patrick Isiche said a new and promising chapter are done on the kingdom with the presentation of staff of office and appealed for an expedited conclusion of the boundary delineation exercise between Isila Sagba and Okpanam communities in the interest of sustainable peace. The highlight of the event was the presentation of staff of office to Obi Ike Chukwuemeka Ugboma II, Obi of Isela Sagba Kingdom. I am Pere Botu reporting.
Governor Sheriff Oborowori has appointed Dr. Godwin Adolo as the Delta State Coordinator of the Made in Nigeria project, a federal initiative domiciled in the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Dr. Adolo, who is the Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the Delta State Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, DEMSMEDA, has been inaugurated alongside other coordinators from the 36 states of the Federation by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. They were inaugurated at a ceremony held at the Government House, Lafia, Nasarawa State, with Governor Abdullahi Sule declaring the event open. Speaking shortly after the inauguration, Dr. Adolo thanked Governor Oborowori for the confidence reposed, pledging to work with relevant stakeholders to advance the objectives of the project in Delta State. The Made in Nigeria project is aimed at promoting locally manufactured goods and services, encouraging indigenous production, and supporting the growth of the nation's economy through increased patronage of homegrown products. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, has called for stronger collaboration between Nigeria and Italy to combat human trafficking, especially the trafficking of Nigerian women to the European country. Honorable Abbas made the call while receiving the Italian ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Roberto Mengoni, during a courtesy visit to his office in Abuja. The Speaker said Italy had remained one of the major destinations for traffickers exploiting vulnerable Nigerians over the years, expressing hope that both countries would continue to work together to eradicate the menace, which he described as a stigma to Nigeria and a concern for the Italian government as well. The Speaker also called for deeper relations between Nigeria and Italy in the areas of health, education, energy, and economic cooperation, noting that the House of Representatives had established parliamentary friendship groups with 78 countries, including Italy, to strengthen diplomatic ties. Earlier, Ambassador Mengoni said the Italian embassy remained committed to deepening political, cultural, and commercial governance and stronger cooperation between African and European nations. The Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation has clarified that it neither approved nor formally conveyed the approval of a 40% peculiar allowance for federal civil servants to the Joint National Public Service Negotiating Council or any labor union. The office explained that the responsibility for issuing and communicating such circulars rests solely with the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, NSIWC. In a statement signed by Director of Press and Public Relations, Mrs. Eno Olotu, the office stated that the circular in question was issued by the NSIWC on April 23, 2026. It added that the meeting convened by the head of the civil service on May 12 was only interventionist and conciliatory, aimed at promoting dialogue between organized labor and the NSIWC to prevent a breakdown in labor relations within the federal civil service. The clarification followed an early announcement by the head of civil service on April 24 that the federal government had approved a welfare package for civil servants. The package included full duty tour allowance for approved trainings, upward review of peculiar allowances across CONPSS and CONRAISS salary structures, as well as increases in extra code, book allowance, and other entitlements. The federal government also approved a 10 billion naira housing loan scheme to expand affordable home ownership opportunities for public servants. The Office of the Head of the Civil Service reaffirmed its commitment to peaceful labor relations and sustained engagement with stakeholders to ensure industrial harmony in the federal civil service. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has sealed a steel company in Kaduna for allegedly recycling stolen railway sleepers and tracks vandalized by a criminal syndicate. The public relations officer of the Corps, Mr. Babawale Afolabi, described the suspect as a sophisticated criminal syndicate specializing in the theft, concealment, and recycling of critical national assets and infrastructure. Mr. Afolabi said viral videos showing the massive vandalization of newly laid Kaduna-Kano rail tracks and existing railway lines prompted the Corps Special Intelligence Squad to launch an investigation into the activities of the vandals and companies allegedly buying the stolen materials. He explained that the Special Intelligence Squad, working with the Kaduna State Command of the Corps, successfully identified, tracked, and apprehended the suspect involved in the criminal operation. The Corps also recovered some of the stolen railway infrastructure from the company and arrested 12 suspects in connection with the crime. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has urged state governments across the country to take proactive measures against flooding, following predictions that more than 30 states may experience serious flooding during the 2026 rainy season. Director General of NEMA, Mrs. Zubaida Umar, in a statement, called for the reintroduction of monthly environmental sanitation, regular clearing of drainages and waterways, and the strengthening of state emergency management agencies and local emergency management committees to reduce the impacts of flooding. Mrs. Umar said NEMA had developed a 2026 climate-related risk management, preparedness, and mitigation framework in response to flood forecasts across the country, stressing that through the agency's flood early warning system, flood risk profiles and vulnerability maps had been produced for at-risk communities to support disaster risk reduction planning by federal, state, and local governments. She appealed to traditional rulers, religious bodies, women and youth groups, the media, and the private sector to help spread early warning messages and encourage community preparedness. You're watching Delta TV Main News. Still to come, Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu reveals secret UAE visit during Iran conflict. Details of this story and many more will come after this short break. Please stay with us.
Another major 2027 is here, a day set aside to celebrate children. Delta Broadcasting Service, DBS Asaba, is set for a wonderful time out for children this season. Oh yes, it is the DBS Asaba Youth and Children's Day Cultural Carnival 2026. Theme, Building the Future Through Youth and Culture. The event is aimed at promoting the beautiful culture of our people and encouraging children to imbibe same. The event will feature cultural march past, art workshop training session for parents and children, painting, drawing, tie and dye, cultural dance competition, Nigerian food competition, Nigerian language knowledge competition, cultural fashion parade. There'll be lots to eat and drink and wonderful gifts to go home with. Delta Broadcasting Service, DBS Asaba, is calling on schools to be part of the Cultural Carnival competition, which will attract trophy and prizes to winners of the competitions. Corporate bodies and churches can register children for this special Children's Day event. That's not all. The brochure for the event will serve as a vehicle for warm felicitations for our children, as well as platform for business owners to advertise their goods and services. For schools participation and sponsorship, please visit the marketing department or call 0803-326-6801. Maureen on 0803-778-1910. Date, Wednesday 27th May 2026. Venue, DBS Event Place, Opanam Road, Asaba. Time, 9 a.m. DBS Asaba Youth and Children's Day Cultural Carnival 2026. Let's meet there.
Thank you so much for staying tuned and welcome back to Delta TV Main News. Now to world news. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has revealed that he secretly visited the United Arab Emirates earlier this year during the United States-Israeli conflict with Iran, although Emirati authorities have denied that such a meeting took place. The disclosure came a day after the United States ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, stated that Israel had deployed Iron Dome air defense systems and operators to the UAE amid growing tensions in the Gulf region. However, the UAE Foreign Ministry dismissed reports of any secret arrangement, insisting that relations with Israel are conducted openly and transparently. The UAE has also faced Iranian missile and drone attacks despite a recent ceasefire between Washington and Tehran, with several civilian and energy facilities reportedly targeted during the regional conflict. Following Mr. Netanyahu's remarks, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi criticized countries cooperating with Israel, warning that those working with Israel against Iran will be held accountable. The reported deployment of Israeli military systems to the UAE is being viewed as further evidence of increasing security cooperation between the two countries amid ongoing instability in the Middle East. Prime Minister Netanyahu's office said he met UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan in Al Ain near the Oman border on March 26, describing the talks as an historic breakthrough in relations between both nations. And now back home, as the rainy season approaches, residents have expressed concern over flooding and called for proactive measures to prevent disasters. Henry Onogwa sampled opinions from residents on measures they believe should be put in place to mitigate the impact of heavy rainfall. The report.
Some respondents blamed flooding on dumping of refuse in gutters, urging residents to stop the practice. They, however, commended government for ongoing drainage projects.
They should keep their environment clean They should not throw away waste bin in the gutter so that there will not be flood in the area. They should help us and help themselves also.
Others stress the need for regular clearing of surroundings to ensure free flow of waters, noting that blocked drainages worsen flooding. A respondent also faulted some contractors for poor execution of drainage projects, which hinders water passage.
There are two factors I'm saying that causing all those things. One, the engineer that's in charge of all this drainage. If they do it well, you can't do drainage as a tableland. It must flow in, it must have a angle of that's a slope. So when the water came, it can flow from up to down. But this one, everything goes this way. So when water that enter will not stay stagnant.
Residents further called for intensified sensitization on proper waste disposal and enforcement of environmental laws.
People are ignorant of general cleanliness. They will sweep from their shop, they will sweep from their house and then dump it in the gutter. And whereas the gutter is meant for wastewaters, I advise the government to put a public awareness to people so that they will not throw their debts, refuse inside the gutter again.
They emphasize that beyond government efforts, individual responsibility and community actions are key to tackling flooding. Henry Onogwa reporting.
In business, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has warned Nigerians against investing in unregistered online investment schemes being promoted on social media platforms, describing many of them as fraudulent Ponzi schemes. SEC, on its official X handle, said it had observed increasing promotion of unregistered investment schemes on various social platforms. The Commission noted that many of the schemes promised unrealistic and guaranteed returns to attract unsuspecting investors, while some operators also provided unauthorized investment services to members of the public, stressing that several of the online platforms were neither registered nor authorized to operate within Nigeria's capital market. The SEC advised Nigerians to avoid relying on investment advice from individuals and organizations not licensed by the Commission, emphasizing that only SEC-registered operators were authorized to provide investment and advisory services in the country. It urged members of the public to verify the registration status of any investment platform before committing funds, and warned that schemes promising unusually high profits often expose investors to fraud and severe financial losses. In sports, the Zimbabwe Football Association, ZIFA, has called on supporters to rally behind the Warriors ahead of their Unity Cup semi-final clash against Nigeria's Super Eagles in London. Zimbabwe will take on the Super Eagles at the Valley Stadium on May 26, with the winner advancing to face either India or Jamaica in the final scheduled for May 31. Head coach Caetano Tembo had earlier unveiled a 24-man squad for the friendly invitational tournament. In a statement posted on its official X handle, ZIFA urged Zimbabweans in the diaspora to show support for the national team by wearing the country's colors during the match. The football body described the encounter as a night of pride, passion, and African football excellence as the Warriors prepare for the crucial showdown against the Super Eagles. Still in sports, Iran has raised concerns over delays in the issuance of United States visas for members of its national football team ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. President of the Iranian Football Federation, Mehdi Taj, said no visas had been issued to players and officials despite preparations for the tournament already underway. According to the report, the Federation would hold discussions with FIFA over the unresolved visa issue, added that players might travel to Ankara, Turkey for fingerprinting as part of the visa application process, although efforts were being made to complete the process in Antalya instead. Iran's participation in the World Cup has attracted attention due to ongoing political tensions between Tehran and Washington, as well as concerns over travel restrictions and diplomatic relations. Despite the uncertainty, Iranian officials maintained that the country would participate in the tournament while seeking assurances from FIFA regarding visa approvals and fair treatment of players and officials. The 2026 FIFA World Cup will be jointly hosted by the United States, Mexico, and Canada. That's our news. Now our thoughts for the day. Never allow the things you want make you forget the things you have. Before we go, let's take a look at some of our major stories. The federal government has confirmed that Nigeria's Digital Switchover DSO project will be officially inaugurated on June 17. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mr. Mohammed Idris, announced this after inspecting facilities put in place by the Nigerian Communications Satellite Limited, NICOMSAT, and the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, in Abuja. Governor Sharif Oborewore has appointed Dr. Godwin Adolo as the Delta State Coordinator of the Made in Nigeria project, a federal initiative domiciled in the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has urged state governments across the country to take proactive measures against flooding, following predictions that more than 30 states may experience serious flooding during the 2026 rainy season. And abroad, reported that Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu reveals secret UAE visit during Iran conflict. You can also follow our news online on Facebook and YouTube, Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, or visit our website at www.dbsasaba.com. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am Blessing Usiagwada. Have a restful night.